Hey, listen, I just want to call out one person.
And I hate myself a lot.
But you're getting punched in the dick.
There needs to be more Street Shark references.
I say who?
That's funny as hell.
Welcome. This is the Underqualified and Overcompensated podcast. I am Rico. I am here solo tonight so far. However, anybody watching, anybody listening, I'm going to go ahead and throw it in the chat. If you have some thoughts on the topics that are going to be discussed, now's your time. That's going live in the comments to Twitch, to YouTube, to Facebook. The guys, they're on assignment tonight. They won't be with us, unfortunately. However, I am here, and we've gone way too long without any content. I was in the field for a couple weeks, and the week before I went out to the field, that show didn't come together. But I'm here right now. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thanks for being here. If you hear something you like tonight, go ahead and share, like, subscribe. Today's a rough one. It's pretty fucking rough because we've got something going on in this country that feels like we're attacking the softest, most vulnerable target in this country. We have, most topical, the Uvalde shooting, where a fucking an animal had way too long to hurt too many children and affect a lot of lives. We have abortions, and I'll let you know right now, this is the overview. I'm pro-choice to an extent. However, when you look at some of the figures, it's pretty fucking sobering. It's wild. Then we have the baby formula shortage. So kids are, they're being attacked in the womb. They're being attacked in schools. And just in case we're not getting them enough, we're also going to starve them. That's the current state of what's going on. So again, if you're watching, if you're listening, if you'd like to get in, share your views. If your views are different than mine, I accept that. I'm welcome to that. I won't shut you down. Feel free to hit that link in the chat. And you can get on here and say your piece on whatever's going on. Let's get straight into it. Uvalde. This dude, this animal, just a freaking animal. I apologize. I've been watching a lot of coverage on this, and there are barely any days where I can get through and be emotional about this. It's absolutely insane. Like, normally, maybe it's sad that these shootings generally don't affect my life directly, emotionally, but this one hit hard. I live, all three of us on the Underqualified and Overcompensated, we all live in the great state of Texas. Your views may be different on that, but this is a place, top two states for me: Texas, Florida. I love those places. However, we have a situation where in Texas, where people should be able to protect others because of looser restrictions, I'll say, we still had a situation where this disgusting piece of not even human, but trash, went in, crashed his truck. He was spotted by a teacher. He still made it into the school after being fucking stopped. And then he had 45 minutes, roughly, based on the different coverage that I've seen, to inflict maximum damage on people that couldn't fight back. Do you think those kids went to school that day and thought they'd have to fight for their lives? Anybody? Because that shouldn't be a thing. Kids that age range should be concerned about the cartoons they love, the thing they just saw on YouTube, things that they enjoy. And instead, you have this animal, this person that thought it was a good idea to take all of the things that were wrong with his life and inflict that pain on children and families and a community. That is what a real monster looks like. That's what a real monster is. A real monster is someone that can inflict maximum damage for no reason at all. I follow the coverage. I'm trying to look for this dude's excuse as to why he felt he needed to go shoot up an elementary school full of children that had everything ahead of them. Everything. But there's nothing. All you see is dude was picked on. He wore eyeliner. He had a lisp. Are we at that point, everyone, where we as Americans, we don't really have a lot of problems? We've gotten to a stage in this country where we're creating our problems to have something to fight against. Meanwhile, you've got things like the Ukraine. People that are actually fighting a fight. And they're getting a lot of help. But they're actually fighting something. And this fucking animal decided to just inflict maximum damage and hurt. Something that will be generationally felt on a community, on children, on parents. Lives in Uvalde will never, ever be the same. Because someone was selfish. And they were a coward. Let's be real. This guy, he was a coward. Absolutely. No one goes after low-hanging fruit as a challenge. But he did. And he got what he wanted. For 45 minutes he sat there. He got off 100 rounds before things happened. A mother had to be pulled out in handcuffs by the police. She was released and still tried to climb the gate to get to her children or child. Absolutely insane. Now do I say, hey, they should have just rushed in there? We have a report of one Border Patrol agent that went in there. And he was the one who took the shot. Maybe he was tired of waiting. Maybe he thought it was worth it to go in there and help those kids. Guys, I'm pro Second Amendment. I don't think that removing guns from people is the way to solve it. Let's see, 1.6 million people saved last year from guns. It is shockingly sad that this happened to those children, that this happened to that community, that this happened in Texas, this happened in this country. It would be sad anywhere, but it still happened. They were accessible. This dude was a coward, an absolute coward. And when you look at the things that are going on currently, that's why the title of this episode, America's Silent War on Children, it feels like the target in America is children. Maybe I'm biased. I have 2 children and I love them, and I can't imagine my life without them. I know I had a life before them. But now that they're a part of my life, I can't imagine a world where I decided they shouldn't be in it. That brings us to topic 2. Abortions. Again, I did say that I am pro-choice to an extent. Things going on in California currently, not great. There are things that are happening in other states that are too restrictive. Definitely, if you've been assaulted and you're being forced to carry the child of someone who took away your dignity, took away your right to choose, that's a fucking problem. And I feel for those people. There have been 60 million abortions since Roe v. Wade started. Take that into consideration, given the birth rate in the U.S. That would be like if America stopped having children for 13 plus years. That's how many abortions there have been. I'm sure there were justified cases. And again, I'm pro-choice, but when you look at that staggering, absolutely staggering number, like, what is there to really feel about that? Should there be a change? Should we, and let me clarify the change, should adoption rights or adoption processes be made easier to get these children who otherwise would have been born into a home that wants them? There are people struggling to get through the adoption system, absolutely struggling. And all they want to do is create a family and have a place where kids can grow up and be loved. I guarantee you right now, as you're watching this, as you're listening to this, no matter when you do, there is a, what do we call them now? A birthing vessel, which is absolutely stupid. There's a birthing vessel right now that is struggling because they're not able to create life and the family that they want to have. Adoption isn't probably working for them because it's so fucking restricted. Probably with reasoning. A lot of people have taken advantage of that system and hit these soft targets, for lack of a better term. Children are being used. Children are being killed in every way possible. We don't even know the status of the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. I know everything about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, but we know nothing about things that hurt children on a daily basis. And that's insane, people. That's absolutely insane. Silence. Memes all day about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Can't get away from the coverage. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. But we know nothing about what affected the future of our children, of our country, the things that destroyed their lives, things they will never be able to walk away from, things that will haunt them for the remainder of their lives. But we know nothing about that. What is going on? What is happening? We all need to do better. We need to demand more. We need to protect the most valuable resource for our future. I alluded to it earlier. The baby formula shortage. Why? Why is that happening? We're sending a lot to the Ukraine. They're in the middle of a fucking war. We're sending a lot to the border. we don't need to starve our children in order to help the rest of the world. That's just a fact. It's what is going on. Someone, anyone, help me understand, because I'm watching all of this. I'm seeing the constant drip. And I'm seeing that we're attacking the softest target in America and just doing everything we can to destroy our future. Why are we doing that? It doesn't make sense. Kids need to be protected. We need to be feeding our kids. We need to be placing soldiers, veterans, anyone at the doors of any place where children spend their time. Teachers don't have to be superheroes. They have a hard enough job as is. Let's be straight up about that. We need to help them. We need to make sure that they make it through the day so that way they can make the dumb choices the rest of us do when we get older. It's not fair to them. I guarantee you, as a father, as a soldier, I would rather be at the front door of my kid's school all day, every day, instead of sitting in the motor pool and waiting for some fuck shit to happen. I apologize for the language. Again, we are underqualified and overcompensated, even though we don't get paid for this. We put out our opinions on things, and I'm just watching and seeing these things, and it's frightening. It's absolutely frightening. These kids shouldn't have to worry about getting shot down in their classes. When a baby is hungry, we should be able to feed that baby. People should be able, if you don't want your child, and again, I know I'm a broken record. I've said it. I'm pro-choice to an extent. People should be able to adopt those kids that the birthing vessel, because that's what we call them now. That makes sense, right? They're not able to, or they don't want that child. I guarantee you there is someone right now that is struggling because they want to have a family. They're struggling, and having a family is fucking hard. You only find out on the back end. But they are struggling, and their partner, their significant other, whatever you want to call them, they're at wit's end because they want to be able to provide and give that life. But adoption is so fucking hard in this country. Again, because people ruin that too, right? Are there even active orphanages anymore? Or do kids just basically go into juvie until they get arrested, until they get adopted, or they turn 18 and they get arrested because they were in a shit situation their entire lives where they were told or made to feel like they weren't wanted, instead of making sure these kids could get into good homes, or at least better than being stuck in the system their entire lives. I don't know the solution. I just know things aren't happening to protect our greatest resource. Because guess what? When kids are gone, the world will keep spinning. But us as a people, us as a biological entity, will be gone. Because now these kids, these teenagers, these super liberals, these people doing it for the clicks, doing it for the views on fucking TikTok, They're calling kids parasites. Kids are hard, but they're not a fucking worm that you got when you were fucking vacationing in South America while earning your degree or some shit. And they're not. And if you don't want that child, I guarantee you there is someone who wants to give that child a life. So again, if you're just tuning in, like I said, I'm pro-choice. Something maybe has to change. And again, 60 million abortions since Roe v. Wade. That's if, sorry, my math was off earlier. That's if the U.S. stopped having children for like 16 years straight. 16 years straight. There would be an entire generational gap. Who would be in charge? The old fuckers that are ruining everything right now, right? Nobody who's, if you can't trust your 70 to 80-year-old grandma, grandpa to run their own lives, why are there politicians that are that age and running our country? That doesn't make sense. There's too much that doesn't make sense. And we're just feeding into bullshit. Absolute bullshit. This is a tough one. If you're watching, if you're listening, maybe you agree. If you disagree, I'd love to hear if you agree. Because I can't see a world where I think as children as just parasites that need to be taken out before they even see the light of day, that need to be taken out before they even get to eat, that need to be taken out at school. At a school. They need to be protected. We need to know what's going on. That's all I got for this one. Ladies, gentlemen's, they, thems, whatever you identify as. It's a short one. Normally I've got some backup on these topics, and I hate doing talking head pieces, but if you're watching and you're listening, I appreciate it. I'm gonna go continue to be sick. But it's funny though. I've been sick for 2 days, and the thing that made me sicker, or more sick, whatever, is not talking about what's going on. So I thank you. If you heard anything that you agree with, disagree with, put it in the chat. We'll respond. We don't close out other thought processes here. A dialogue is important. Always. But in order to have a dialogue, you need to be able to listen to both sides and come to an agreement. So, I thank you for letting me go on this little 25-ish minute talking headpiece. And good night, everybody. I hope your Memorial weekend goes well, and there's no other bullshit in the world. Good night.
Hey, listen, I just want to call out one person.
And I hate myself a lot.
But stuff. You're getting punched in the dick.
There needs to be more Street Shark references.
I say who?
That's